Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS MLB Saturday. We got 15 games on the board. Going through the London game, Phillies Mets in this one, but on the live show tomorrow at 11:38. Well, actually, the live show starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're doing MLS first. Then at 11:30, we'll go through all 15 MLB games. And then around 12:30, 12:45, whenever baseball ends, I got two UFC guys coming on, and we're going to go through the UFC card too. So a loaded live show tomorrow if you're able to make it. Starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Like I said, Phillies Mets, let's roll.
Welcome to the SWUS. The SWUS. SWUS. Hey, get the SWUS.
All right, we got Phillies Mets in London. Technically, this is a home game for the Mets, but they are overseas. Mets are dogs here, plus 135, and the total sitting at 10. On the mound for the Phillies, we got Ranger Suarez. He got banged up in his last start, but he's good. Mania pitching for the Mets. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we have a slight lean on the Phillies through 5 innings, 2.22 to 2.12, dead even final score. So model's got this one pretty close. All right, so let's take a look at this matchup, and we'll start with some ROI numbers. As I'm sure you already know, the Phillies have been much more profitable than the Mets this year, plus 12.37% to minus 10.96%. Now, if we narrowed it down to just the last 10 games and last 5 games, it's actually a lot closer than that. But on the season, Phillies have definitely been a better team to bet than the Mets. I don't think you needed me to tell you that. Now, what I want to start out with in this one is this ballpark. They're playing in London Stadium, and there's been 3 games played here in the last 5 years. First one, 2019, Yankees-Red Sox. The final score was 17-13. So there was some runs scored, and then there was 2 games played here last year, Cubs and Cardinals. Final scores of that game, 9-1, 7-5. So there's definitely been runs scored in this stadium, which probably explains the total sitting at 10 with Ranger Suarez on the mound. And Sean Mania. Sean Mania's pitched well as well, so that's why the total is up at 10. So if we take a look at this matchup, start with the Phillies bats, who aren't producing like you think. In the last 14 days, they're 25th in WRC+, 25th in OPS, 26th in WOBA. In the last 7 days, about the same as that. If you look at their numbers against lefties, again, not impressive. In the last 30 days, 11th, 10th, and 10th. But the last 14 days, 20th, 18th, and 19th. Now look at their numbers on the road. Technically, this isn't a true road game because both of the teams are away from their home stadium. But again, numbers cooling off a bit for the Phillies. In the last 14 days, they're 16th, 16th, and 16th. Now, there's only been 6 Phillies road games in the last 14 days, so not the hugest sample size, but Phillies bats definitely seem to be cooling off a bit. If you take a look at some game logs, some lefty starters against the Phillies, didn't really get to Ashby. Other than that, though, I mean, they got to Kyle Harrison, they got to Blake Snell, but who hasn't? Didn't get to Ty Block, got to Andrew Heaney, so didn't get to Mackenzie Gore either. So the Phillies not really hitting like you'd think. They're not really hitting lefties like the best team in the league right now. As far as Sean Mania's pitch mix, Phillies haven't been hitting sliders, haven't been hitting cutters, 27th and 24th in the last 30 days against those pitches, but they're doing all right against sinkers, and they really have been hitting changeups well. So pretty even there, back and forth. Couple pitches they hit well, couple pitches they don't for Mania. And speaking of Mania, he's had a great season, man. He's got a 3.63 ERA and a 4.29 expected FIP on the year. Last 3 starts, the ERA is up 5.17, but look at the WHIP and the expected FIP. 128 and 297, indicating he had some bad luck to give up those runs. If you look at his numbers at home, kind of the same story here. He's been a little bit better on the road this year, but still, his last 4 home starts, 3.74 ERA, 120 WHIP, and a 3.63 expected FIP. You'll take that. Last 2 home starts, you see the ERA up, WHIP and expected FIP still looks fine. Game logs for Mania, that Arizona start at home, that's what's skewing the numbers here. 5 earned runs to the Diamondbacks. Before that, he pitched great against the Giants, pitched great on the road in Miami. Phillies, at home against the Phillies, 6 innings pitched, just 1 earned run, 4 hits. So he pitched great against the Phillies. Now, when it gets to the latter innings of this game, we do have to look at numbers from the Mets bullpen, and they're pretty awful. One of the worst bullpens in the MLB in the last 30 days. 27th in ERA, 29th in WOBA, 23rd in expected FIP. Same thing in the last 14 days, although the expected FIP is better, indicating that they've been slightly better in the last 14 days, but still, Mets bullpen has been terrible. But look at the Yankees numbers against bullpens. Yankees haven't really been Phillies. Look at the Phillies numbers against bullpens. Phillies haven't really been hitting in the late innings here. In fact, in the last 14 days, they're 25th, 24th, and 25th. Phillies have been bottom 5, bottom 6 lineup in inning 6+ in the last couple weeks. So combine that with the fact that the Mets bullpen expected FIP looks a lot better. Maybe the Mets bullpen can get some outs here. On the other side, we got the Mets bats, and Mets have been hitting, man. In the last 14 days, this is a top 5, top 6 lineup. 5th in WRC+, 6th in OPS, 6th in WOBA. Certainly been hitting lefties. First month of the season, it was the complete opposite. Mets were crushing righties, and they couldn't hit lefties. It's completely flipped. The Mets are hitting lefties. In fact, in the last 14 days, this is the best lineup in baseball against lefties, believe it or not. First. Look at the last 5 lefty starters to pitch against the Mets. 9.97 ERA, a 1.94 whip, and a 5.56 expected FIP. So the Mets are getting to lefty starters, and you can see which lefty starters right here. 6 runs off Patrick Corbin, 6 runs off Mackenzie Gore. They absolutely crushed Jordan Montgomery, 10 hits, 8 runs off him. Before that, Paxton got hurt in that game, so we don't really know. He was pitching pretty well, but he got hurt. And then before that, Kyle Harrison, they got to him as well. And then before that, Braxton Garrett. So I keep saying before that, but look, last 6 lefties, James Paxton obviously excluded, Mets have been crushing lefty starters. Here's the thing. Ranger Suarez is not just any lefty starter. He's been one of the best lefties in baseball so far this year, and the Mets do not hit sinkers, which is definitely a bad sign here because that's Ranger Suarez's top pitch. 32% of Ranger Suarez pitches are sinkers. The Mets are 26th in runs above average against the sinker in the last 30 days, but he also throws a lot of curveballs, and the Mets have crushed those. So maybe not all bad news. As I'm sure you already know, Ranger Suarez has been dominant here in his last 3 starts, an even 3 ERA, an 0.93 whip, and a 2.39 expected FIP. And those numbers are actually down from his season numbers. So he's been, like I said, he's been one of the best lefties in baseball this year. He's been fine on the road. In fact, he's been a little bit better on the road. In his last 5 road starts, which is the whole season, he's made 5 road starts, 1.85 ERA and an 0.65 whip. Those are Cy Young numbers. Here are his game logs here. Got hit up in Coors Field, but it's Coors Field. I'm not going to put a blemish on anyone's resume for getting hit up in Coors. Rockies have actually been hitting lefties too. So, but before that, dealt against the Rangers, dealt against the Mets, dealt against the Marlins. Ranger Suarez has been a beast this year. So this is going to be a true test because you got Ranger Suarez, who's been one of the best lefties in Major League Baseball, against the Mets lineup that's been tattooing lefty starters. So we're going to have to see which side gives. We take a look at the Phillies bullpen. They've been elite. Probably the hottest bullpen in baseball in the last 30 days. First in ERA, second in WOBA, first in expected FIP. But you know what? Mets have been hitting bullpens. Unlike the Phillies, the Mets have been productive in the late innings. 8th, 10th, and 12th in the last 14 days. Top 5 lineup in the late innings in the last 7 days. So basically, when you look across the board here, obviously, we know the Phillies are a much better team than the Mets, but based on data from the last 14 days, I think these two teams, with these two guys on the mound, are a lot closer to even. They're playing on in a weird ballpark where there's going to be runs. It feels coin flippy to me. And in a coin flip, you can get plus 135 on one side. I'll take it. So I'm going to bet the Mets. Full disclosure, maybe just doing a bit of gambling here. It's not because I'm a Mets fan. If you subscribe to this channel, you know that I'm more than happy to fade my favorite team. I do it all the time. But I feel like overseas in this weird ballpark where runs can be scored, Mets have been crushing lefties. Ranger Suarez got hurt in his last start. He took a line drive to the hand. Maybe he comes back and isn't quite himself. I just think there's definitely a path here for a Mets win, and we're getting a nice price. Give me the Mets money line. Like I said, live show starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll do MLS first, then MLB, then UFC. So if you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets or top bets from anyone on the staff here, or you'd like to join the betting league, which starts in 2 days. I'm pumped for this. I've had it in the works for a while. Starts on Monday. I'll put a clip in explaining what it is right here. All right, got a quick announcement to make. Pretty excited about this. I've been trying to work it out, the details for it for a while. Was really trying to get it ready for football season, but I think I have it ready to go now. So starting Monday, we're going to have a weekly betting league in the Discord. So Monday through Friday is the quote-unquote regular season. On Monday, you'll be assigned an opponent. And it's you versus that person, 3 bets a person. Whoever has more earnings gets a win. Whoever has less earnings gets a loss. Tuesday, you'll be assigned a new opponent. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so forth and so on. Now, at the end of the week, after Friday, the 4 people that have the best records, obviously tiebreakers would be overall earnings, would break ties, get to the playoffs, which is on the weekends. Saturday, there's 4 people that make the playoffs, 1 seed versus 4 seed, 2 versus 3. Sunday is the championship. Winner of that week gets $100. Everything resets. New league starts on Monday. So really excited about this. If you're in the Discord, it's free to enter. You don't, it doesn't cost anything to enter. But yeah, just want to let everyone know, I think I have it ready. So Monday we'll be up and rolling. I haven't thought of a name yet, but I'll think of something fun. So yeah, if you want to get in on that, if you want the top bets, if you want to join the Discord, any of that, head over to KyleKirms.com and sign up for Sauce Network Plus. Let's have ourselves a nice Saturday. Unfortunately, this is going to be a losing Friday night. I posted 5 bets on the website. As I'm recording this, I'm 1 and 2.
Update. No, it is not going to be a losing night. So while I was recording that video, the Royals came back and won. The Cardinals ended up covering -1.5. And then, well, later on, not while I was recording, Angels, Astros under hit. So I was 1 and 2, looking like a bad night. I ended up going 4 and 2 with some plus money hits. Wow. How your tide can turn. Feeling good right now. Back-to-back winning days. Great Friday. Let's keep that momentum going.